Hi there, it's Mark, and today we're going to be looking at noise reduction in Lightroom. Two reasons for that. One, this picture is very noisy. We were on a photo shoot and had all the lights and everything set up in one corner of this pub, and Aga decided to take a picture on the bar, and so I just threw my ISO up. It was a very dark pub, in excess of 12,000 I believe, and I thought it would make a good candidate to look through noise reduction. There are tools out there such as Topaz Noise Reduction and Topaz Photo AI, which do a good job, but so does Lightroom at times. So let's have a look at what they are. These aren't new features as such, so I'm not riding on the wave of recent upgrades. It's just that they're worth exploring. And the other reason is I had to cancel a photo shoot and had nothing but else to do today, and I cancelled it because I managed to break my finger at the top and fracture the two bones beneath it on the same photo shoot. So let that be a lesson. Anyway, I'll play the titles and I'll see you very shortly. So here we are in sunny Lightroom, and I've got a few copies of that same picture just in case we needed multiple ones to play with, but we'll see. They do need an edit, so let's apply the same edit on each, just to brighten them up if nothing else. And this isn't about editing this picture per se, it's about noise. So I'm just going to hold down my first one, shift, click the last one. I'm not even going to go into the develop module itself, because over here in the gallery view, we can come to our quick develop section and just click auto. And let's just live with whatever Adobe thinks should be done from an auto point of view. And as you can see, it has edited those pictures. Control D to deselect. Click on the first one and press D for our develop module. Okay, let's zoom in and look at that noise. So we're at 200%, which is quite noisy. When we weren't zoomed in, I can still see noise and a bit of lack of clarity there. So we do need to do something here. 200%. Let's have a look at noise, which is under detail. Incidentally, all these features are available under camera raw. It is the same thing, just wearing a different dress. Yeah, so Lightroom and Adobe Camera Raw functionally have all the same thing. They just got different clothing. They look differently on screen. So where's our noise gone? Here it is. It's under manual noise reduction. This is where we're going to start, and we're going to start with luminance. But right out of the box, I would say the default for Adobe here has been luminance 0, color 25, detail and smoothness 50. You can tell if a slider is still at its default or not by virtue of, if I move one, the lettering becomes white. Let's reset that. So what do they all do? Well, to be honest, I rarely touch some of these. But let's start with luminance. What is the extent of what it does? We will understand what this does by the end of this video. However, we don't know what it will do to each picture because it is picture by picture. It will vary according to the amount of noise and how the picture looks. So no luminance noise reduction to full luminance noise reduction, and job done. We can go home. That's awful. Luminance noise reduction. Luminance addresses black and white grain, so like the overall grain you can see, and that's certainly not grainy. But where is a happy medium? I think around about 50, but you can still see some. Yes, but we are at 200%. At 100%, can you see it? Possibly, but we've got some other sliders to go. When it was at a normal size, which for me now on screen, you can't tell the size of my monitor, that I'm looking at that picture, and that picture is A4 size. It's the size of a sheet of A4 paper. Can I see noise? No. Let's zoom back in though. So that's luminance. It is about the grain, the black and white grain. What is detail and what is contrast? Well, when you use this slider, and the reason why these two beneath it are tied to it is because you can lose detail and lose some contrast. And this is about putting those back in. So it helps protect edges, fine structures. It helps introduce some contrast that might be lost, a little bit more punch back. What will it do on this picture? Well, we don't know, and we wouldn't know on a different picture until we wriggle it. Spoiler alert, I very rarely found an occasion where contrast has worked. Let's try it now. 0 all the way through. I'm seeing some contrast certainly in the grain that we've left in, which is another reason I haven't gone over the top, or at least further with luminance, because if I did, you wouldn't see this effect. So giving it a little bit there to play with lets us see the impact of the other sliders, and I don't like what that's doing. It's subtle, but it's certainly there. It's making it more muddy. Well, it would. It's trying to bring up some contrast. Detail, on the other hand, to its extent, enough. When a slider's in the middle, this isn't about noise. When a slider's in the middle by default, it's still worth rolling it off as well as on to understand the range. So down, and if we're watching here, so we're looking at the same place, let's watch inside the ring of the eye mask there and back up. You can see how it's putting detail back in. Now I think I rather like that. I'm not going to roll it off too much. I'm going to leave it there. So there's our basic grain, our black and white noise. Let's have a look at colour. And Adobe thinks 25-15-50 is the place it should start at. Let's roll it off. And look at all this colour noise coming back in. Remember, we're at 12,800, wasn't it? 12,800? 12,800 ISO, 125th of a second, f2.8. So we're going to have noise. It's a dark room as well. So we've got a lot of colour noise there. What's the other extreme look like? Okay, it has got rid of the colour noise, but it's also taken out a lot of colour. So I think it wasn't far wrong at about 25. In fact, I can't tell much of a difference swinging either side of 25. I'm just going to leave it there. But at least we now know what it does. More so by rolling it off than taking it too far to the right. Detail and smoothness. Well, again, there are consequences of using the slider. The consequence of luminance was it can reduce detail and contrast, and similarly with colour. The detail slider here, it's protecting colour as opposed to structure here. So you can see it has actually taken some pink out of the cheek, or at least I can on my monitor. I don't know what YouTube will do to this. And at the other end, it has restored it a bit. But you know what? In this occasion, it's nothing to write home about. That doesn't mean to say it's not a good slider by any means. It just means on this particular picture, it's not our friend, not an enemy either. Smoothness. This smooths out variations in the colour, but because the colour wasn't actually picking up too much, then we're not going to see much on that slider. Incidentally, if I roll the colour off, those two become greyed out because they can't address anything that is an impact of using colour if we're not using colour. Similarly, if I roll that off, it can't give us these sliders because there's nothing to address as a result of using the slider. So there we are. There is the basic noise reduction. Let's go back to our A4 size and go before. That's auto and noise reduction and after. And I think that's perfectly adequate. And if anybody is zooming in and says, oh, we can see some noise at 200%, well, give them a big sticker which says, I can zoom in at 200% and pick fault with pictures, and it'll make them happy for the rest of the day. And pat them on the back and away we go. Okay, what's this other thing doing? Let's use our right hand arrow key to move to my next picture, which is the same as the first picture. But on this one, we haven't applied noise reduction. In fact, I'm going to fold that panel up. And let's see what this particular function does. Incidentally, if you can hear noise from outside, we've got builders putting up some scaffolding next door. That's what that is. So denoise, it's got one button and one slider. The slider does nothing until you press the button. Let's press the button. Now this will vary on how long it takes, again depending on the picture, the size of your picture, the speed of your machine. In this case obviously it's running a little bit slower than I would hoped on my machine, but looking at my CPU down here, something is maxing out my CPU at this moment in time. I can't be bothered to go and see what that is. We'll just soldier on through because that's real world. There we go. Okay, so that's done. Let us now zoom in. Wait, zoom in to 200%. And as where we were when I started with the manual version, it has left a bit of grain in as its default, and I think that's fine. At 100% you can't tell, and so therefore you can't tell at the A4 size. Back to 200, we've still got a way to go though. We can roll it off, we can roll it totally off and get back to where we started, or as I suspect this won't look very good, we can totally go up to 100. Yep, awful. So I think 50 is good, quite a good starting place. It's got a little bit of grain, but you know what? I think that's perfectly acceptable. It was a better overall job than our manual version. And there's only one slider. Adobe says, I've denoised it. How much do you want, up or down? And it seems to be taking care of the colour and the other artifacts that the manual noise started to bring in. So that's it. That was easy. There's your choice. Incidentally, if you want to see more of the shoot I had with Aga in the Bridge Hotel and around the castle in Newcastle, they're on my Facebook page, and the links to that are down below in the notes. Other than that, that's all I've got for you, and I think you'll be very surprised at just how much Denoise can do without looking to a third-party solution. If you like this video, please click on the subscribe button and ring that bell to be notified of future videos. If you think it warrants a thumbs up, please give it a thumbs up. If you think it warrants a thumbs down, please give it a thumbs up. And I'll leave it there until the next time. Bye for now.